When I was sort of preparing what to talk about today, I was thinking about International Women's Day and how it is relevant to the beauty industry. And it's probably something that might not seem like it kind of squares or fits with the luxury beauty industry as we kind of know it. You know, International Women's Day, since it started in the early 1900s, has been about campaigning on political, social, economic, employment opportunities for women. And so it might seem a bit of a disconnect from the glamorous images that we see in the beauty industry. Obviously, International Women's Day has never been about kind of petitioning for the right to wear mascara wands. People haven't been chaining themselves to Smith & Co.'s beauty counters. But increasingly, I see examples of the industry empowering women. And one of the key areas that I find is just the job opportunities that is brought to women as women have climbed higher and higher up the ranks. We have women who are working at the leading edge of science, research, development, technology, and the creative sort of design and artistry fields. And these women are in really high positions now, high management positions, and I think particularly in the field of science it's really important that we have more and more women holding these positions and really pioneering research. So we've just, prior to this issue, I'd just been working on the Future Beauty issue, and that's where I get to kind of really look in the crystal ball of what's coming up over the next year. And I thought I would just sort of talk through a few of my favourite trends, a few of the key industry trends. So the first one up was a product trend, a category called Blur, which is something that I've been really excited about. Now, Blur products came out a few years ago. They were created as a response to HDTV. All of the movie stars suddenly being kind of in real life on the screen, suddenly freaked out that every pore and line and wrinkle could kind of be seen. And so the beauty industry responded by creating these products that weren't pigmented, but they kind of just act as almost like a physical airbrusher to the skin. And the way they work is they just sort of disperse light, so they kind of, the light where it would pool in things like pores and lines and wrinkles and scars and shadow, it just disperses and kind of bounces back out. And Lancôme, one of actually the kind of key product for the launch, but L'Oreal is really sort of owning this category, is called Visionaire 1 Minute Blur. Another trend I really loved was the flawless skin and kind of nude makeup trend. And I think this is kind of, it's sort of a lot of what women just really want. They want in their kits. It's sort of how a lot of us want to look. We just want to look flawlessly natural. We don't want lots of tricks and twiddles and things we have to spend 5 hours, practicing in a mirror. And so this is a lot of kind of natural shades that all blend together, but it's a focus on perfect skin and perfecting skin, and it goes hand in hand with Blur. Another trend, and this has been my kind of big trend that I've been talking about for the last few years, and this really is changing things, is the pro-age trend, and we've seen it in fashion and beauty, and this is just finally the use of women of every age. I mean, I know when I was in my 20s it was all the kind of supermodels who would, I think, get to about 22, 23, and then they were wheeled out the door and someone younger was brought in, and they were doing all the fantastic kind of anti-aging commercials with 20-year-old models. But now we're seeing, women like Charlotte Rampling in the middle there. She's in her late 60s. She's about to front a campaign. Another trend that I've talked about in this issue that I'm also really excited about, because it's kind of really about, I guess, taking the power yourself for what you want, is the whole idea of customization. So there are a few companies now that are launching DNA testing kits. So you get your little kit and you do a little mouth swab and you send it off in the post, and they send you back a sort of map of your own genetic makeup, and tell you, these are going to be your sort of aging signifiers. These are the skin concerns that are going to bother you or might be bothering you now. And that marries with another trend, which is this whole kind of home chemistry lab trend that's been bubbling up, particularly in Europe. So you have these DIY biology companies over there who basically sell engineered organisms, and they mail them out to you, and you can use them to create your own drugs. So you can create your own medicines in your own little lab at home. So going on to emerging trends, I know Louise has sort of spoken about this effortless chic, and I'm seeing this coming up. New York, Paris, Milan and London shows have just closed, and quite a few hair and makeup artists have been rocking this kind of Parisian look. And it's always been one of my absolute favourite looks because it's just so easy and effortless, and it doesn't kind of dominate. And it's all about those, you know, you've got these beautiful kind of kitten liner eyes that you can see here with just a little bit of a flick. And the perfect red lip, which is just that image on the end is just so beautiful. But what I also like about it, it's not about being perfect, you know, so that the liner might be just the right kind of length, but it's not absolutely pristine. It might be a little bit smudged because this girl's got shopping in Paris to do, walking along the Seine, eating croissants, that kind of stuff, important things like that. And it's I guess all about the kind of the sexy eye and the sexy lip, but really perfect skin. So whether it's a sort of baby pink lip or a red lip, it's yeah, quite sexy and slightly voluptuous, I guess. But then the skin is really just kind of clean. And then it's always paired with this really messy, slightly undone hair, which I really love. And it's kind of, you know, either gathered quite artlessly up, or it's down, but it's always sort of a bit mussed. This person who's going places, she doesn't want this, you know, perfect hair that's sitting there and not moving. And it is, I mean, you just see it so much in Paris particularly. And what I also love is it's completely ageless. So it's not, you know, always about the look. The red lipstick, I think, is kind of key, but it's definitely completely ageless. It's all about attitude. And it's all about these idiosyncratic kind of details that they add. So maybe the liner's, you know, squared, like, is it the woman at the end? I mean, look at her on the right. You know, she's so fantastic that she's taken this time to kind of create that look. And yeah, look, the lipstick is completely wobbly, but who cares? Because look at her fierce attitude and style, you know. Another trend that I'm really excited about, and particularly obviously in New Zealand, sun is such a big issue to us. And there are some incredible advances coming on the horizon for the whole sun category. It's been one of the biggest kind of rev-ups in the industry that I've seen coming for a while. And I came across this not protection device, but this kind of personalised device that you wear. It's got a little jewel with a sensor in, and you link it up to your smartphone. And it basically monitors sun exposure and alerts you when to protect yourself, how to protect yourself, and you can kind of program it to your own needs. And another thing I'm excited about is that we have Karen Barlow here. So Karen has worked in the industry for a long time, and she's got the most amazing insider knowledge. And so I thought we'd just mine that, basically, essentially. We'll just mine you for information. Yeah, sure. So I thought, could you start off by telling everyone your background and sort of what got you into the industry?
Yeah, well, I left school to work in pharmacy, a small pharmacy in Taupo, it's my hometown. And I originally started, I was employed as a dispensary technician, but I soon found that the pills and the potions really wasn't what I was really that interested in, and the customer contact on the shop floor was more of interest to me. And my mum, ever since I can remember, has always used skincare and makeup. And I think from then it was just kind of that natural, I was sort of gravitated towards the cosmetic counter, and that's how it all started. And from there I've had several different roles in the industry. So I became the counter manager working in a pharmacy. I had a slight change of direction in my career when I worked for farmers. An opportunity came up to be a trainer within the farmers group, and I did that for about 2 years, and I really missed cosmetics. I found that it was really difficult when I was out on the shop floor to stay away from the counter. I kept wanting to go back there and shift things and do things. It was like, oh. And then a chance came back to move back into the industry. So I came back into cosmetics and worked directly with a beauty brand. And from there I had several different roles. I became an event specialist, which is like the ladies that are here today to do your makeovers. And then from there I became a training consultant, and then I looked after an events team, so I took on board the events management role, and then I became the national education manager. And I started working for Longcon. Longcon as a brand spends a lot of time talking to women to find out what they want, what their needs are. It's a French brand, and I think all Kiwis, we just have this love affair with France and Paris. Even if we've never actually been there, there's just something about us that we sort of gravitate towards their culture. But it was actually after I started working with Hong Kong that I really became hooked on the brand, because it was then that I realised that the products actually do deliver what they promise. And for someone who's worked in the industry for as long as I have, which is over 20 years, that's actually really saying something. It's really hard to pick some favourites, but Genifique, Advanced Genifique would have to be one of my personal favourites. And we've also just launched a brand new eye product in our Precious Cells range for Absolute, and I'm really, really loving it as well. It is my first love.
Your little black.
It is. In fact, you should say that, because it's the skincare alternative to a little black dress, regardless of what your skincare routine is. It will work in that routine, and it will complement that routine perfectly. It's like your insurance policy. Advanced Genifique is all about the future youthfulness of your skin, regardless of what age you are. It will ensure that your skin will look as youthful as possible.
Hong Kong kind of identified 10 signs of 10 measurable clinical, I'll get that right terminology, measurable clinical signs of youthfulness.
Well, there are 5 signs that are visual, and there are 5 that are tactile. So the visual signs are things like fine lines, or more deep lines, radiance on the skin surface, clarity, and what we call as uniformity, which is how even your skin is, with regards to, say, colour, for example. Then the 5 tactile signs are things like the texture of your skin, the elasticity of your skin, the tonicity.
Checking while you're
here. Yeah. And so tonicity is all about how toned your skin is, and I'm sure we will understand about how toned we can be, so that's what that's all about. And then the last one is your firmness and your skin's ability to bounce back, or what we call rebound. Okay. Absolute is for Lancôme our really much our luxury brand. It's a brand that has really amazing textures and great sensorial experience to it, but at the same time it delivers the most amazing technology with plant extracts. So you're getting the combination of, for me, what's really important is something that's natural, but with science to make those natural ingredients work as well as they can, but in really modern textures that we will enjoy and want to use.
Yes, Absolute has a kind of special rose in it, because I really love this story. It's really nice.
Amanda Dijon, who's the founder of Lancôme, had a rose created for the brand by a very famous rose creator, Bernard. And the Lancôme rose is significant for the brand for many, many reasons, but in one particular product, Absolute Extract, we actually use the Lancôme rose because it has this wonderful ability to regenerate the skin. We actually take the stem cells from the Lancôme rose, and we use 2 million of those stem cells in every trial of the extract. And the plant extracts that come from the Lancôme rose actually ensure that the really precious cells in our skin, called the stem cells, it looks after the environment around those stem cells. So what we're going to do is we're going to pair you up. You don't have to move anywhere other than you have to decide which one of you is going to give this beautiful, relaxing and regenerating massage, and which one is going to receive it, and then we're going to swap over. And it only takes a few minutes, but it's absolutely amazing. The only thing that you will need to do is when you're receiving this massage, those of you ladies that are wearing glasses, I need you to take your glasses off, because there's a shiatsu pressure point at your temples that we finish this particular massage with, and with the arms of your glasses we can't quite get at that spot. So Liz, if you'd like to sit back in that chair, and you're going to move your hands in the direction almost like of your toes in some circles. So we're going to do that 3 or 4 times. So you go in reasonable pressure, so 1, 2, 3, let's do 4 because we can. And then the next step is just slide your hands to the top of your shoulders, and you're going to press down on one side and then release, and then press down on the opposite side. And press down once more on this side, and then move this hand to the side of your neck. And press down.
That's good, huh?
And press down.
And once more, and down. Then come back to the outside and press down again on the outside. And down once more. And once more like that. You guys are really good. I could give you a job on the long count show. Then we're going to massage the back of our shoulders. So big circles, and we can do that about 8 times.
It was like a collective groan.
Yeah, there is. Then the next thing we're going to do is going to slide our hands back down to the shoulders, and we're going to, almost like we're trying to squeeze her in and lift her up at the same time. So we go like this. And then slide down halfway down the arm and squeeze in and try and pull her out of the chair. And once more down to just above the elbows. This is a very regenerating part of the massage. And then last but not least, up at the shiatsu pressure point on the temple, and just very gently press in and count 1, 2, 3, and slowly release. 2, 3. Voila!
Oh, that was great.